I would say good morning to you, broadcasting live. We're here at Chick-Fil-A, the Crossings in North Johnson City on this beautiful Wednesday. It is sunny outside. Enjoy it while we got it, because it looks like rain's coming and colder temperatures this weekend. But hey, we'll take what we got while we got it. And we say good morning to you on this, our 510th show. They said it wouldn't work, and we're rolling right along with it. I'm very proud to be a part of this here again at Chick-Fil-A, the Crossings in North Johnson City on this, again, Hump Day Wednesday. Beautiful, beautiful day in the neighborhood, and we thank you for being with us. We always dedicate our show to the man who hung on the cross, and it starts like this. We unashamedly, man, I was listening to Charles Stanton last night, about had a spell. Man, can that guy preach. Goodness gracious sakes alive, Martha White. Psalms 118:24 says, I have made this day, rejoice and be glad in it. And that is awesome. I have made this day, rejoice and be glad in it. And so that is our thought for the day and our verse of the day to get it started here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show, show number 510. Coming up, we're going to be joined by Joe Vento from the Johnson City Press, talking East Tennessee State sports. We've got Greg Salyer coming in here as he normally does on Wednesday to talk about Major League Baseball, and we will wrap things up with our good old buddy, can't beat him, Dave Angie from the Johnson City Press, talking a plethora of sports. So we have got all that going on again here on this Wednesday, broadcasting live around the world on Facebook. Again, this is our 510th show, and we thank you for being with us here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. We normally don't start with hockey, but we're going to start with hockey. Why? Because the Predators out of Nashville, Ryan Ellis, the defensive man, it was a long day yesterday. Predators defenseman, that's what I wanted to say. Ryan Ellis gave goalie Pekka Ryan a hand in the crease with a key save inside the final minute of the second period, and broke open a scoreless game with a power play goal. And the St. Louis Blues just could not come around. That's good, as the Predators win to beat the Blues 2-1 last night to take a 3-1 series in the Western Conference semifinals. So the Nashville Predators, who were given no chance to even beat the Blackhawks in the first series, they swept them. Now they're up 3-1 in the best of 7 against the Blues. Game 5 is Friday night in St. Louis. So how about that? The Nashville Predators out of the gate leading 3-1 in the best of 7 and winning last night 2-1 over the St. Louis Blues at Gaylord Arena in Nashville. Tom Taylor Sports Show, thanks for being with us. We're live here again at Chick-Fil-A, the Crossings in North Johnson City. Carolyn's turned the air conditioner on. It's cold enough in here to kill hogs. We can hang backer in here. Hang ham. Lord have mercy. Kill hogs and hang the ham in the ceiling. Remember? No, I'm okay. Remember that back in the day we used to kill hogs and hang them up let them cure in the smokehouse? You're what? You're not older than me. No. I love this little lady. She's awesome. But yes, wasn't that long ago, as kids, we used to go up to Granddad's house and kill hogs and hang them up in the smokehouse and cure them in the fall and the winter. So we could be doing that here today. Oh, me, oh, my. Hey, thanks for being with us. We are live again at Chick-fil-A. What else going on in sports? Well, coming up this weekend, we're going to take a break and talk about it. The first of the 3 Triple Crowns in horse racing, the Kentucky Derby. Looks like they may run it in the rain at Churchill Downs, but we're going to talk about who's going to be running, who may be the favorite to win the Kentucky Derby. All that coming up. We'll take a look at Major League Baseball, the NBA, all that. Of course, we got Joe Vento coming at the bottom of the hour, talking East Tennessee State sports from the Johnson City Press. All that coming up again here in just a few minutes. And I'm not Greg Salyer. I'm Tom Taylor. Greg will be here in a little while. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. We'll jump in and talk Kentucky Derby and Major League Baseball. We're live here at the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Tom Taylor Sports Show. Just bear with me. It was a long day, but it was a great day. We'll take a break. I'll be right back. We're live again at Chick-fil-A, show number 510 on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
The deals are heating up for Truck Month at Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City. Over 300 new Chevys to choose from, all with incredible savings. $11,000 off MSRP on 16 Silverado All-Star Crew Cabs. Check out the savings online at championjc.com. 16 Silverado Crew Cab, 33,685. 16 Track, 17,460. 16 Equinox, 21,615. 16 Traverse, 27,365. Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City, where we leave you asking, how do they do that?
At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they treat thousands of patients each year dealing with diabetes and its effects. Diabetes overtaking our nation and leaving a path of destruction behind. Through wound care, office visits, and preventive care, they see most of the patients after a problem arises. Using diabetic footwear such as shoes and inserts, a great way to prevent or prolong skin breakdown and amputation. At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they use only custom molds from patient mold inserts, which further ensure a great recovery, or better yet, prevents a wound from happening. They use custom molded shoes, bracing, custom inserts, and extra depth diabetic shoes to prevent wounds or other skin issues from beginning. Call today, 1-800-524-4447. 39 years, 6 locations, 1 family. Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, 1-800-524-4447.
Any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-Fil-A. Over 10 to choose from. Perfect for having the gang over to watch the big game. Birthday parties, church get-togethers, backyard gatherings, everything from fruit trays to garden salad trays to nuggets and chicken strip trays. And for the sweet tooth, try the cinnamon cluster or chocolate chunk cookie tray. So you see, any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-Fil-A. Chick-Fil-A at the Crossings in North Johnson City.
At FCA, we're touching millions one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been putting the heart and soul in sports by challenging athletes and coaches to impact the world for Jesus Christ. As the largest sports ministry in the world, FCA now reaches over 2 million people annually on the professional, college, high school, junior high, and youth levels. Through this shared passion for athletics and faith, lives are changed, one heart at a time. Learn more at fca.org.
Everybody get on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Thanks for being with us. My man is in the house, the maiden voyage of Joe Avento from the Johnson City Press, talking ETSU Sports. He's going to join us coming up here in a few minutes. Came early. I love that. So he is ready and chomping. We'll get him in just a second, or in a couple of minutes. But as promised, before we go to the break, number 2, coming up on Saturday is the Kentucky Derby, running at Churchill Downs, and so in Louisville, of course. They are forecasting rain, so the whole strategy has changed now because a muddy track versus a dry track. I didn't know this. I'm not too much into horse racing, but when you got a $2 million prize sitting out there, the rain will be a big deal. And so problem a wet track composed is at least twofold. For one, with young horses, a single wet track race is hardly compelling evidence, even if it's a winning race. A win in the mud can be a sign that the horse enjoys the slop in the mud. Then again, in many 2-year-old races, everyone in the field can be running on a wet track for the first time. So in those instances, a victory could be explained by one horse simply tolerating mud and everyone else not liking it. So I didn't realize that. Here we go. Some of the favorites going into the Kentucky Derby on Saturday. In the Rain, Tapwrit, T-A-P, you got some interesting names too. T-A-P-W-R-I-T, Tapwrit is a horse that won the Pulpit Stakes at Gulfstream Park on a sloppy track. Also for the Kentucky Derby on Saturday in the mud, Classic Empire and Looking at Lee. Classic Empire captured his career debut on a sloppy track on May 4th of last year. Looking at Lee finished third in Iroquois, in the Grade 3 Iroquois. That was a mixed bag of, he did finish second, but he was 8 3/4 lengths behind the front runner, not this time. Out of the other 7 horses, Gormley, G-O-R-M-L-E-Y, Hence, H-E-N-C-E, and Battle of Midway. All these horses have run in the mud and been successful. So, again, I didn't realize that, but when it's raining and it's supposed to be pouring down the rain in Louisville on Saturday, changes the whole strategy for the Kentucky Derby. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. So, again, The Derby is coming up on Saturday, the first of the Triple Crown, of course. The Preakness and the Belmont coming up as well to see if one of these horses can win all three of the prized races. And the first one up Saturday is the Kentucky Derby, apparently in the rain, Churchill Downs in Louisville. We'll take a quick break, come right back. We're going to be joined by Joe Avento from the Johnson City Press talking East Tennessee State Buccaneers sports, and there's a lot to talk about. Tennis, basketball recruiting, football, golf. I mean, the list goes on, and my man's got it. Joe Avento of Johnson City Press joins us next in show number 510 of the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
At American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, one of the 8 areas of your vehicle that takes constant continuing education is the air conditioner on your vehicle.
Well, you would think that AC would be a simple one, but it's getting to be a lot bigger than just AC. It's the management of the system, not just AC, but heat and everything. It's a lot more computer controlled than it used to be. It used to be just a little button on the dash that you pushed. Now there's all kinds of electronics involved in that. Braking systems used to be fairly simple. Now some of the newer vehicles, you have to have a computer to actually operate the braking system to make sure that it's okay after you've worked on it. Computer controlled of the engine is becoming very important. There's a lot to that. Each one of these areas, the technology has just tripled and quadrupled in the last few years. It's hard to keep up. You really need to stay in the books and know what's going on with them.
American Import and Auto Repair, Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111. Blue Lizard Australian sunscreen originated in Australia, where sunscreen standards are the strictest in the world. Although our products are now manufactured here in the U.S., we continue to adhere to the most stringent Australian standards to offer the best in broad-spectrum sun protection. Blue Lizard, the brand most recommended by pediatricians and dermatologists. Our smart bottle turns blue in the presence of UV rays, reminding you to cover up. You bring the sun, Blue Lizard brings the magic.
It's Friday night at 7 o'clock. You've been involved in a car accident. You may be out of state on vacation or just a few miles from home. What do? Who do you call? At Farmers Insurance Group, one call is all you have to make. Hello, this is Jim Klein, an agent with Farmers Insurance. It's called One and Done. You don't have to wait till Monday morning to file a claim. You can make the initial call and we'll begin right away to help you. We assist you in moving the vehicle to a certified repair shop, getting you set up with rental car, and informing your agent. Then here are the staff at Jim Klein Farmers Insurance. We follow the claim through to the end. It's that easy. One and Done. We're your one and done location for all your insurance needs. Auto, home, life, commercial, workers' comp, and bonds. We can help you with all your insurance needs. Give me a call today, Jim Klein Farmers Insurance at 247-5400, your one and done location in Kingsport, 247-5400.
Hi, I'm Rob Cole with Bays Mountain Park. There's something for everyone at Bays Mountain Park. Whether you're an outdoor enthusiast or simply looking to get away and relax, Bays Mountain Park in Kingsport, Tennessee is the perfect destination. For only $4 per vehicle, enjoy 3,500 acres of breathtaking scenery, featuring 40 miles of hiking trails, wildlife habitats, one of the Southeast's premier planetariums, and much, much more. For more information, please visit www.baysmountain.com or call us at 423-229-9447. Bays Mountain Park, one of the Tri-City's best places for learning, leisure, and recreation.
Back live with the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Thanks for being with us. There on the screen you see his name, and there he be, our buddy Joe Avento of the Johnson City Press. Good morning, sir. How you doing?
Great. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm glad you're here, and we appreciate you being with us here again on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Let's hit the magic hot button, and there we go. So before the break, I was talking about the Kentucky Derby, and you enlightened me that there is a strategy because, and I didn't know this, I don't know anything about horse racing, but a wet track or a sloppy track versus a dry track changes everything, and so you've got a pretty cool story about that.
Well, I learned that firsthand a long time ago when we were in high school. In Milwaukee, we were driving to Arlington Park to go to the racetrack, and we got about halfway there, and it started raining like heck. And I was sitting in the back seat reading the newspaper, and I'm looking at the handicappers' comments about the coming races. And next to one of the horses, it said, "Mud will help." That's all it said. He was a long shot, too. It basically said that's his only chance. So I think I put about $4 on him, and he won. And I seem to remember winning $300 or $400 on that horse. And I ended up buying lunch for the whole car on the way home. So
Mud will help.
I don't remember the horse's name. I don't remember anything other than, but that's exactly what it said. So, I mean, that being said, that'll change what might happen at the Kentucky Derby.
Oh, absolutely. They're talking about a lot of rain up there, and I'm going to ask stupid questions because I don't know. I guess you get into a traction situation if it's just sloppy, muddy, even with the horse's hooves, it's still going to be kind of slick and muddy, right?
Maybe it's the great equalizers.
Yeah.
Some of the horses that might not be as fast on dry turf. And I'm no expert, although when I was a kid, my grandfather used to take me to Monmouth Park in New Jersey. That was always a fun deal to go.
Mm-hmm.
To go. I went to watch the horses. He went to bet on them.
We're talking to Joe Avento, Johnson City Press, his maiden voyage. We want him in here as much as we can get him because he covers East Tennessee State for the Johnson City Press. And great timing this morning. You were telling me that Coach Forbes on the men's basketball team signed somebody this morning, and that's great timing to come over and tell us about it.
Well, they signed a 6'7" forward from Blinn College in Texas. His name is James Harrison, and he averaged about 14 points a game, and he'll have 2 years. He's a junior college forward, and as everybody who follows ETSU knows, Steve Forbes likes to go the junior college route. He likes bringing in experienced guys that have proven they can play at a level above high school, and he seems to be able to get a high-caliber player, and he seems to be able to coach him pretty well. So that's his style, and we're used to it now. And that was his second signing. He signed one last week. I thought the guy's name was Jeremy Rodriguez. It's Jerome Rodriguez. He's a 6'7", 225 power forward, and he was a highly rated player at his position. So that's his first 2 junior college guys. They join Bo Hodges in this class. Bo Hodges from Maplewood was the 2-time Mr. Basketball in Tennessee, and he just led Maplewood to the state championship. And he's going to come in. That's the high school player, so he'll have 4 years. But they're really excited about him. He's a shooting guard that's real athletic.
I know they played Sullivan East in the state tournament.
First day.
And Coach Dyer said, man, Forbes got himself a plum. This guy can play.
Yeah, so everyone's really high on him, and that's a good thing. And he's got a couple other things in the works. Next week, he's got a guy coming in to visit, Darius Thompson, who is transferring from Virginia. And he started at Tennessee, and he's graduated from Virginia, so wherever he goes for his senior year of eligibility, he'll be eligible to play immediately. He's visiting here next week. His sister played at ETSU.
Oh, really?
So he's got some ties here. And he started 23 games for Virginia in the last 2 years. And so we got to see him play quite a bit down in Orlando, the game before the Bucks-Florida game, which Virginia played UNC Wilmington. And then he's got a couple other big guys coming in for a visit. Oh, actually, they already have visited. A guy from Nigeria, Jonathan Nwenko. He played at Southern Idaho Junior College, transferred there from VCU. He will have 3 years if he decides to come here. And then another high school kid from Serbia, Mladen Armas. And he's playing high school basketball in Arkansas. And he's being looked at by a lot of big schools such as Arkansas and Arkansas State and Missouri. But he's 6'10", so as you can see, he's going after some size because that's what he lost.
And international flavor as well. We're talking to Joe Avento of the Johnson City Press, talking East Tennessee State Buccaneers sports. He's reached a point. It's kind of I would think kind of a semi-tough situation. Of course, you got the Southern Conference schedule you got to play, but because of his success, it used to be, some of the big boys would play because you were a doormat. And it was an easy win to pad their schedule. Not the case anymore, so I would guess his non-conference scheduling is going to be somewhat of a challenge this year.
It was a challenge last year, and I think it's getting even tougher this year. Basically, nobody would play him.
Mm-hmm.
especially there's a lot of Division I schools right in the area that are almost a no-brainer. That should be a natural rivalries with travel, and none of them will play. Radford, even Virginia Tech wouldn't play them. Appalachian State, they wanted some kind of a special deal. I'm not sure what it was, but they couldn't come to an agreement. So they're having a lot of trouble scheduling right now, especially when they go and beat Mississippi State last year down there.
Exactly.
Tennessee came into Freedom Hall last season and immediately announced they're never doing that again.
Exactly.
He said, we'll play anybody from Tennessee in Knoxville. Yeah,
exactly.
He told me that exactly.
Yes. And so, Coach Forbes trying to put together a schedule, and it will be interesting to say the least because, as Joe said, when you're successful and you're winning and you're no longer a lackey, you're no longer a guaranteed win, nobody wants to play because these big schools obviously are padding their schedules to get to the magic number of wins to help them out for the NCAA tournament. So he's kind of his success has almost become a hindrance, which is a good thing for the Buck fans because it tells you that things are pointed obviously in the right direction. The men's basketball program. We're talking to Joe Vento. We're live here at Chick-Fil-A, the Crossings in North Johnson City. Speaking of going in the right direction, again, they've done it. The tennis team at East Tennessee State, lights out. They in golf, let's start with tennis. They've done it again.
Well, 11 years in a row they've won a conference championship. I think it's 3 in the Southern, and it was maybe 8 in the ASUN. And they're going to the NCAA tournament again. It was announced yesterday. They're going to go to Chapel Hill next Friday. Not this coming Friday, I guess it's May 12th. Chapel Hill, and they're playing South Carolina. And the thing about that made them happy was that they send 4 teams to each site. One of them is the host team, and they didn't have to play the host team in the first round. That's always a tough thing, playing against the home crowd. Even though South Carolina won't have far to go to get to Chapel Hill, it won't be on their home court. So South Carolina is ranked 19th in the country, but ETSU in tennis has proven they can play with just about anybody. They've won a couple of matches in the NCAA tournament. Last year they lost a tough one 4-3 to Michigan. So that's an exciting thing for them to go 11 years in a row.
And plus, in the middle of the season, their coach stepped away from the program, so they're using an assistant coach. I guess he got elevated to the program, and he's picked right up and kept on going. So they're in the NCAA tournament, which is quite a coup again for the tennis team and for a school the size of East Tennessee State. Again, 12,000 kids, ballpark number. So
and I think they've been doing the team format for 19 years in the NCAA tournament, and this is their 15th time.
Wow.
So that's pretty darn good.
It is very darn good. We're talking to Joe Vendo from the Johnson City Press. Got him on for the first time. Let me just say this guy's been hard to snag because he's on the move, and I've been after him for about a year. And Dave Angie helped me and finally got him in here, and I want him on a regular basis along with his cohorts, Doug Fritz, and of course Angie will be here coming up in a little while. Then you look at golf, you hear one name, Fred Warren. I mean, this guy's synonymous with success, and here comes the ETSU golf team. They're doing it again.
I didn't really expect them to win the conference tournament, the Southern Conference tournament, by as many strokes as they did this year. Last year they had a pretty good team with an All-American, and they only won it by 1. And this year, without any real proven top winning guys, they had guys that had won a lot of tournaments, and they went down there to Pinehurst and won the Southern Conference tournament pretty handily. And they'll be finding out the NCAA pairings tomorrow, and that you can watch that at noon on the Golf Channel. They go through a little show like they do for basketball on CBS. Yeah.
We're talking to Joe Vento. So the tennis is doing great, golf's doing great. We saw Coach Torbush, and by the way, I told him before we went on the air that his coverage of the NFF breakfast we emceed on Saturday morning was very, very good. I know the folks on that side of the fence tickled to death for the publicity, and Joe did a great accounting of the event with Gerald Sensabaugh, and Coach Carl Torbush was there, and that's where I'm going with this is he, up at the head table, he was just so excited about this football stadium being built, and he really thinks it's going to be a great shot in the arm for his recruiting efforts and for the kids coming in and playing.
Well, and if you look at it now, it's a stadium. Mm-hmm. It's no longer. I mean, it's still in the works, but it's no longer just a construction site. It's taken shape. You can see the field level is getting graded. The bowl where the seats will be is now built. The press box is built. The archway that leads into the stadium, it really looks like a stadium now. They're going to start putting in the seats, I'm sure, pretty soon, and they'll have to lay down the turf. But boy, it's looking good. it's going to be a neat thing.
Yeah, Coach Torbush said they're right on schedule. In fact, they may be a little bit ahead of schedule, but we got some rain coming, but still they can put in seats in the rain or whatever it takes to get it done. So, yeah, they're getting ready for the September opening game at the new stadium being built on the campus here of East Tennessee State University in Johnson City. We're talking to Joe Vento from the Johnson City Press. Rubber match in baseball, the Bucks lose, and so Tennessee takes 2 out of 3, but they got them a big win up here. That was a good recruiting tool for the Bucks to beat UT here in Johnson City with my man Jamie McCann on the mound doing a great job pitching. They lost last night down in Knoxville, so they've lost 2 out of 3. But this season, looking at positives, they beat Tennessee in Johnson City and they beat Virginia Tech Hokies in Johnson City.
Well, and that's always big when you can beat teams from the Southeastern Conference and the Atlantic Coast Conference. They're still struggling in the Southern Conference for some reason, but on any given night, they've shown they have all the pieces. They just haven't been able to put it together consistently right now. Boy, they got some hitters, though. I don't know where they rank right now, but a couple of weeks ago they were ranked 5th in the country in batting average.
So we 2 Mondays ago, they were getting the night before Virginia Tech. Connie, Chick-Fil-A sponsored the game. She brought 4 of the guys over here, and Owenby was here, and Mathis was here, and Kester's was here, and I can't remember the 4th guy. I had 3 out of the 4, which is pretty good for me to remember that. But those 2 of those guys were the Hammers, and since they were over here, they've really played well, Owenby and Mathers. And so the whole key, of course, to get ready to get a springboard in for the Southern Conference tournament, which is right around the corner, and that's the goal, to be ready. And Tony Scholes doing a pretty good job with a lot of local kids, so we hope they do well in the tournament.
Well, and if anybody has a chance to go down to the tournament, it's in Greenville, South Carolina. I went down last year for the first time to that stadium where the Greenville Drive play, Floor Field. It's a mini Fenway Park.
Primo.
Wow, what a place.
Yes.
It was such a neat place that, and like I said, I had never seen it. I took my son down there 3 times last summer to go to games just to see the stadium. What a great place.
Of course, this is the first time we had you on there. Who's your favorite ball teams?
I'm a Brewers fan.
Milwaukee Brewers.
I used to work for the Brewers back when they were in the World Series in 1982. I was on the security guard staff.
Really?
Stands, yeah, and a Yankees fan too. I grew up in New Jersey, and my grandmother was the biggest Yankees fan in the world. She would call me every day and say, "Did you see the game last night?" I said, "No, they were in Oakland. It was 2:00 in the morning." She said, "Well, how about that Jeter?" She would say, "How about that Jeter?"
How about that Jeter?
Jeter. She would say, "Yeah."
That's great stuff. How about that Jeter? And so Milwaukee, you're up there with let me think, who was Gordon? I'm trying to wipe off the cobwebs. Who were some of the Brewers back in?
Robin Yount and Paul Molitor.
Who was the big?
Gorman Thomas.
Yeah. Can't remember his last name.
I got a great story about Gorman Thomas. Years ago, I did a story about Dale Ford, and the local guy who was umpire in the American League, and you talk about timing. And this is the days before the internet, so stories didn't get moved around quite as freely. And in my story, I asked him, I was interviewing, what player gave you the most trouble in the American League? And Dale Ford said, Gorman Thomas was an SOV. And this is the truth. The next day, I get a phone call, and it's my dad. And my mom and dad were in Charleston, South Carolina, and they say, "We got somebody that wants to talk to you." Hey, guy comes on the phone. "Hey, Joe, this is Gorman Thomas." My mom and dad had gone into a bar in Charleston. Gorman Thomas was tending bar.
Really?
Just kind of bemoaning the fact that a guy that could hit 45 home runs in a season missed the big millions by about 5 years. And so, but anyway, so I told him what Dale Ford said about him, and he basically said the same thing about Dale Ford right back to me. And I mean, that was completely a coincidence that those two things had nothing to do with each other, and it happened together. It was really funny.
That's a great story. When you get around these newspaper guys, they're full of all kinds of great stories. Angie's the same way, and so is Doug Fritz. Speaking of, what are you going to be working on the rest of this week? We can be reading in Johnson City Press.
Well, tomorrow's the golf thing, the golf announcement. Today I'll be doing the signing of the basketball player and going a little bit more into recruiting about who he's looking at. It's a kind of a tightrope you have to walk, because the coaches are not allowed to talk about players they're recruiting until they signed. They're only allowed to acknowledge that they're recruiting a player. They can't talk about him at all. So anyway, but you know, this day and age with Twitter and the internet, you you hear a lot more than you used to from various sources. So you can get some more stuff out there.
I thought it was interesting Saturday when we had the breakfast and those 8 scholarship athletes, and afterwards all these kids wanted their pictures taken with Gerald Sensabaugh, who was the keynote speaker. For those of you who don't know, he's from here in Kingsport, Tri-Cities, went on to play for the Cowboys and the Jaguars. Now he's back coaching at Crockett High School. Anyway, he was the keynote speaker, and so was Coach Torbush, the head football coach of East Tennessee State, who had to leave. He had to go out the door. He said, look, get on the PA and tell these people I'm not high-hatting them. I got to leave because NCAA rules says I can't take pictures with kids.
Recruits.
And I thought that's nuts because the kids who want to take pictures with him, they've already signed to play football. They're already recruits. They're in the fold.
One of the guys was his recruit.
It's one of his kids was going to East Tennessee State, and the NCAA is so whacked out. The rule is that he had to leave. He couldn't stay around for a picture. I mean, put your arm around a kid, a photo op, which is a thrill for a kid because the NCAA, crazy rules.
NCAA rules are so crazy. I read something about what Steve Spurrier did. They allow you to give a recruit certain food items, but you can't embellish it. You can't put cream cheese on a bagel for a recruit. He can get a cookie, but it can't be frosted. So
you're kidding me.
So Spurrier, he did all that. I think he gave him a something like this, a bagel with cream cheese, and reported himself to the NCAA. I read a story. I don't know if it was true or not, but just to tweak him because they're not going to get on probation for that. But
how ridiculous!
But anyway, the rules get that specific. Although they have said they're going to shrink the rule book a ton. I don't know if they've done it or if they're working on it. Kind of like what they're doing in golf. That's a different story.
This is well worth the wait coming over, man. You did a great job. I appreciate you very much. Can you come on a regular basis?
Yeah.
This is it. We just did it. And
all
so
right.
my man Joe Avento, we're going to feed him. That's part of the deal to come on and get him some chicken or whatever he wants. So
might run out of stories after a couple times.
No, I don't think so.
I got a few good ones.
How long you been writing?
I've been at the press since August of 1988.
He's not going to run out any stories. He's got lots of stories.
1988 at the press, yeah.
Good job.
I do got some good ones.
Give me some taters, man. I thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. Quick break. We'll be right back. We'll jump in, talk a little NBA and National Hockey League. How about the Predators? We'll take a break. We'll be right back. We're live at Chick-Fil-A on show number 510 of the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
Any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-fil-A. Over 10 to choose from. Perfect for having the gang over to watch the big game, birthday parties, church get-togethers, backyard gatherings, everything from fruit trays to garden salad trays to nuggets and chicken strip trays. And for the sweet tooth, try the cinnamon cluster or chocolate chunk cookie tray. So you see, any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A at the Crossings in North Johnson City.
The deals are heating up for Truck Month at Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City. Over 300 new Chevys to choose from, all with incredible savings. $11,000 off MSRP on 16 Silverado All-Star Crew Cabs. Check out the savings online at championjc.com. 16 Silverado Crew Cab, $33,685. 16 Track, $17,460. 16 Equinox, $21,615. 16 Traverse, $27,365. Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City, where we leave you asking, how do they do that?
At American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, one of the 8 areas of your vehicle that takes constant continuing education is the air conditioner on your vehicle.
Well, you would think that AC would be a simple one, but it's getting to be a lot bigger than just AC. It's the management of the system, not just AC, but heat and everything. It's a lot more computer controlled than it used to be. It used to be just a little button on the dash that you pushed. Now there's all kinds of electronics involved in that. Braking systems used to be fairly simple. Now some of the newer vehicles you have to have a computer to actually operate the braking system to make sure that it's okay after you've worked on it. Computer controlled of the engine is becoming very important. There's a lot to that. Each one of these areas, the technology is just tripled and quadrupled in the last few years. It's hard to keep up. You really need to stay in the books and know what's going on with them.
American Import and Auto Repair, Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
Your life is always changing. You never know what shape it will take, or how your financial needs might change. But if we talk about your investments and how they can provide for you and your family, the future becomes clear. At Wells Fargo Advisors, we believe conversation leads to financial clarity. Let's start a conversation today.
Oh yeah, he's a big deal. Oh yeah, it was back in the day. I guess to somebody he still is, his wife or his mama or somebody. We're talking to our buddy Connie. We're back live again at Chick-Fil-A, the Crossings in North Johnson City. We're here on the Tom Toter Sports Show, show number 510. They said it wouldn't work. Let's see what's happening in the NBA from last night. Steph Curry, the Golden State Warriors did exactly what everybody thought they were going to do. They blew out the Utah Jazz in Game 1, 106-94 last night. Curry scored 22 in 3 quarters of work. Top-seeded Warriors warmed up in a hurry after being off for a week, showed no rust at all, and it's Utah. Not to put a knock on Utah, but it's Utah. Kevin Durant added 17 points. Let's see, on the other side of the coin, Rudy Gobert had 13 points, 8 rebounds, 2 blocks, and a pretty good outing, but again, made no difference. Game 2, best of 7, the best of 7s tomorrow night back at the Oracle Arena. And so Golden State wins big last night on the left coast, 106-94, Game 1 of the best of 7. In the Eastern Conference last night, Isaiah Thomas, 53 points, 9 in overtime, as the Boston Celtics win last night as they defeat the Wizards 129-119, take a 2-0 lead in the best of 7. John Wall had 40 points and 13 rebounds in a losing cause for the Wizards. Now the series moves to Washington now for games 3 and 4 tomorrow night and on Sunday. But again, Celtics 53 big ones by Thomas, wins 129-119. John Wall in a losing cause had 40 for the Wizards, as again they make it 2-0 in the best of 7 between the Celtics and the Washington Wizards. So that's coming up again. Game 3 will be Thursday in Washington. What else happening in sports? Again, the NBA tonight. Let's see who's playing where. You've got this evening Toronto and Cleveland, the Cavaliers, who won the first game, the best of 7, beat them 116-105, won by 11. Game 2 tonight in Cleveland, and Game 2 tonight in San Antonio. The Spurs got to figure out how to stop Houston. They got blown out by 27 points in Game 1 on Monday night. That's my boys. They got hammered, took to the cleaners, and so they're down 1-0. Game 2 tonight, as we said, in San Antonio. And also Game 2 tonight, Toronto and the world champion Cleveland Cavaliers playing tonight in Cleveland, Game 2 of the best of 7. We talked about the National Hockey League. The Rangers skating past Ottawa 4-1. Senators lead that series 2-1. It was the Predators going up 3-1 in this series, winning 2-1 last night over the St. Louis Blues in Nashville. Tonight on the ice, Washington skates at Pittsburgh. Penguins lead that series 2-1 of the best of 7. And Anaheim will be in Edmonton against the Oilers, and it's the Oilers leading that best of 7, 2-1. That's the NBA and the National Hockey League covered for you. It is the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Did you see what Nick Saban got? Nick Saban, nice little pay raise down at Alabama. Woo-hoo. a 3-year extension through 2024, $65 million over the next 8 years. Wow. Making him college football's highest paid coach. Saban will make $11 million this year, counting a $4 million signing bonus and a $400,000 completion bonus. Now, he's always said he's going to make more than any other coach. There's a clause in his contract. Harbaugh just got a pay raise in Michigan, so he bumped him. Saban, who is 65 years old, is now making $11 million a year. And you play what? How many football games they play, Joe? Alabama's going to play what, 11 or 12? 12? So Saban's making $11 million for 12 games. That's a pretty good chunk of change. Wow. $11 million for 12 college football games. Nick Saban got a pay raise. And, folks in Alabama say he deserves it. I guess if you can get it, why would you not? So anyway, Nick Saban, a happy camper, got a $4 million signing bonus, just put his name on the line yesterday. So that'll buy him some whatever he wants to buy down in Alabama. So he buys some Chick-Fil-A, a lot of Chick-fil-A, a lot of chicken strips, and egg white grills. Wow. All right. Other college football news. Sherion Jones, quarterback, leaving Tennessee's program again, has been granted his release to transfer. He was going to transfer in 2016 to Colorado, but came back to the Vols later that month. Played in one game, threw one pass last season, and so he is now moving on again, and I dare say that door will not be reopened for him the second time through. So, again, he is leaving the program at the University of Tennessee. College baseball, Will Neely has become a thorn in the East Tennessee State baseball side. Neely was the winning pitcher against ETSU for the second time in as many weeks. Tennessee beat the Bucs last night 9-2 at Lindsey Nelson Stadium in Knoxville. In his last outing against the Bucs, Neely started and allowed one run over 7 innings. This time he did it out of the bullpen, limiting East Tennessee State to 1 run and 4 hits in 5 innings. Bucs are now 20-23, and Tennessee goes to 23-18 on the season. So the Volunteers win last night, the rubber match of the 3-game set. Bucs won here in Johnson City, lost in Sevierville at the Smoky Stadium, and lost last night at Lindsey Nelson Stadium to the Vols of Dave Serrano. What else happening in baseball? College baseball, Milligan opens up the Appalachian Athletic Conference tournament today. They're going to be playing the Buffs will play at 4 o'clock and going in as the number 7 seed at 23-27 on the season. And they will take on Point. Point University is 32-19, the number 2 seed. First game got started at 9 o'clock this morning, Reinhardt and Union. Game 2 is going to be at noon. Coming up here in just a few minutes, Bryan and Truett McConnell. Game 3, Point and the Milligan Buffaloes. And Game 4, Tennessee Wesley and the Bulldogs take on the Ramblin' Rams of Bluefield, 4 versus 8 in the nightcap at 7 o'clock. All this being played at Hunter Wright Stadium in Kingsport. So the AAC, the Appalachian Athletic Conference tournament, is underway, and they are playing that as we speak. So good luck to the Milligan Buffaloes. They're playing again at 4 o'clock this afternoon, and as the number 7 seed at 23-27, and taking on Point, a record of 32-19. Before we go to the break, let's run down college baseball top 10 this week. The number 1 team is Oregon State, number 2 Louisville. The North Carolina Tar Heels currently 3rd in college baseball. The Red Raiders of Texas Tech currently 4th. Auburn is 5th. Kentucky 6th, Mississippi State 7th, Texas Christian 8th, Clemson 9th, and the Florida Gators round out the top 10 in the latest college baseball poll. And speaking of Kentucky, we told you yesterday they've signed a corporate agreement to rename Commonwealth Stadium for the football team. They are now known as, or it is now known as Kroger Field. How about that? Kroger Field. Kroger stepping up and paying big bucks to be the corporate sponsor of University of Kentucky football stadium, and so it is now known as Kroger. Here it is. Here's a picture of it. Welcome to Kroger Field in Lexington, Kentucky. First name change for Commonwealth Stadium in 44 years. What's it going to cost them to do that? About almost $2 million a year. They're paying out to the University of Kentucky to have the football stadium named Kroger Field. It will also become the official fuel partner, official nutrition and pharmacy, and official grocery store for the University of Kentucky and its athletic department. So there you go. That's big news. Kentucky Kroger Field is the new name of the field at the University of Kentucky in Lexington for the football stadium. Quick break. We'll be right back. We're live here again. We've got Greg Salyer coming up at the top of the hour, and we'll come back, take a look at high school baseball, how things went yesterday, what's going on this week for the tournament, everything you want to know about high school baseball and softball and soccer. We'll have it for you next on our high school segment here at Chick-Fil-A on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City takes care of both male and female customers, but owner Kim Smith says they have a special care and concern for ladies.
Being a female in what's considered a man's business, I understand the trepidation that women may have when they come to the shop. They feel like they don't know about cars, they might be intimidated, but that's not the way we do business. Everybody's treated the same. We take the time to explain anything that they have questions about, the repair, the process, the part. We want to make sure people are comfortable with what we're going to do to their vehicle and that they understand. We do cater to women in a sense. We have a real nice waiting room with nice Keurig coffee and flavored creamers, air-conditioned, cushioned seats, TV, everything a girl could want while she waits for her car to be fixed.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111. At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they treat thousands of patients each year dealing with diabetes and its effects. Diabetes overtaking our nation and leaving a path of destruction behind. Through wound care, office visits, and preventive care, they see most of the patients after a problem arises. Using diabetic footwear such as shoes and inserts, a great way to prevent or prolong skin breakdown and amputation. At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they use only custom molds from patient mold inserts, which further ensure a great recovery, or better yet, prevents a wound from happening. They use custom molded shoes, bracing, custom inserts, and extra depth diabetic shoes to prevent wounds or other skin issues from beginning. Call today, 1-800-524-4447. 39 years, 6 locations, 1 family. Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, 1-800-524-4447. If you're catching some waves or just playing in the yard, it is important to protect yourself. You may not feel the sun's heat, but UV rays can still damage your skin even in cloudy weather. Blue Lizard Sunscreen, recommended by pharmacists and dermatologists nationwide. Our SPF 30-plus formulations use only the highest quality ingredients for broad spectrum protection. As a reminder to protect yourself, our bottle turns blue when UV light is present. Blue Lizard, we've got you covered.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
Always nice, Miss Tracy, bringing tea over. We're back on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. A new sell paper out Food City this week. Oh, my goodness. Look at his red, ripe strawberries. Connie, you like strawberries? She grinned like a fox in a hen house. She said, I don't think you've ever seen her on camera. Let's look right there she is. Wave at us over here, please. There's our marketing lady. She does a phenomenal job here at Chick-Fil-A. Just came back from a Lauren Daigle concert. She was on cloud 9 for that, and I totally understand that. Let's see, talk about the strawberries. Again, new sell paper out this week. Check this out in the sell paper. Look at it. I don't know if I can get it up here on the camera or not to do it justice. Probably not. There it is. Look at those bad boys. Red ripe strawberries. My, oh my. Buy one, get one free at your local Food City. 16-ounce container. Get one of those little strawberry shortcake, those little round things that you get. Crumple it up, put it in a bowl, put some milk on it, and cap you some strawberries. Woo-hoo. That'll set you free there. Now, that's good stuff. That's country. Again, strawberry shortcake. Again, that's buy one, get one free this week. Mayfield ice cream, buy one, get one free. Mayfield ice cream made right here in the great state of Tennessee, down in Athens, Tennessee. Also, you have Pepsi products this week. 6-pack, 16-ounce bottles, 5 for $10 at your local Food City. Also, grilling out season is here. Food City Fresh, 75% lean ground beef, $2.49 with your Food City value card. That's some of the specials on the front page. On the back page, out of the floral department, they've got some beautiful hanging baskets. Got one just yesterday myself, $10.99. Again, by the way, this is the 99th anniversary of Food City. They opened in 1918, so you get 99 bonus points on select floral purchases this week. Again, $10.99 for hanging baskets. Knockout roses, a 3-gallon. I buy all my knockouts at Food City. Knockout roses, 3-gallon for $19.99. You've got the hibiscus, Amanda Villa, $16.99 out of the floral department. And then if you're in trouble, I guess what send this out to guys, if you're in trouble, you're in the doghouse, want to get out of the doghouse, the Oopsie Daisies bouquet for $5.99 at your floral department, your local Food City. So great deals this week at all Food Cities all across the chain. And so you can get strawberries, buy one, get one free. That's pretty daggone good, I can tell you that. So that's some of the specials this week at your local Food City. We're live here at Chick-Fil-A, the Crossings in North Johnson City. Excuse me, some great values here as well. We always talk about the salads, and here's another chance to talk about the Cobb salad. This one flies out here. In fact, I've been watching, there's been several go across the counter just today, this morning. Sliced Chick-fil-A nuggets, sliced and served on a hot, fresh bed of chopped romaine lettuce and baby greens. Topped with shredded red cabbage and carrots, roasted corn kernels, a blend of shredded Monterey Jack and cheddar cheese, crumbled bacon, diced eggs, grape tomatoes made fresh daily, served with charred tomato crispy red bell peppers and avocado lime ranch, your choice of dressing. 500 calories again on a Cobb salad at Chick-fil-A, the local Cobb salad, your local Chick-fil-A here at the Crossings in North Johnson City. And so COBB, Cobb salad, only 500 calories. And again, that's a great way to get some great nutrition and eat healthy. And if you're concerned about eating healthy, and you should be, or concerned about, bathing suit season, want to slim down and get ready to get into the bathing suit, a lot of the pools will be opening a little over a month from now, or no, less than a month from now, inside of a month, Memorial Day weekend. So you want to do that, or just because you like a great salad for no other reason than you just like good salad. You can get them here at Chick-fil-A at the Crossings in North Johnson City. Let's check out high school baseball from yesterday here in the region. High school baseball and softball. It goes as follows. Got to put the glasses on for this one. Lawsy mercy. Daniel Boone doubles up Sullivan Central 12-6. Morristown East beats South Doyle 5-1. Science will beat Elizabeth in 6-2. We'll have the Cyclones, the Elizabeth and Cyclone baseball tournament play this weekend from J. Fred Johnson Stadium. It's going to be a busy weekend. Weather's not cooperating right now. A lot of rain coming, but we'll see if we can get some of these games in. Again, the Cyclones will open up AA tournament play, and we'll be right there bringing it to you here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show Facebook page. Sullivan East beat Crockett yesterday 6-4. North over Unicoi County 6-5. That is a big upset right there. I'll make sure I'm talking baseball here. Yes, I am. That is huge. North knocks off Unicoi County 6-5 in baseball. Tennessee High takes 2 from Happy Valley 6-2 and 8-1. Union County beat Granger 11-1. Volunteer over Johnson County 3-2. In Virginia, Eastside over Castlewood 11-1 and 5. Marion all over Graham in baseball 18-9. It was Twin Springs defeating Thomas Walker 12-10. Union over Gate City 5-3. Virginia High, the Bearcats defeat Lebanon 11-5. Wise Central blanks Lehigh 9-0. That was high school baseball in Virginia. Now softball. How did that go yesterday? Daniel Boone picks right back up their winning ways, beating Crockett. Cross County rival 6-2. Cherokee over Cott County in softball 6-2. Dobbins Minutes Lady Indians all over Science Hill 10-4. It was Greenville 15, West Green 5. Morristown East Ladies shut out Jeff County 7-0. North Greens Ladies beat the Lady Rangers of Unaka 8-6. Sullivan Central beats Volunteer 11-10. Union County 9, Jeff County 3. That's all in Tennessee softball. In Virginia softball, the Abington Lady Falcons over Tazewell 6-0. Eastside beat Castlewood 5-2. It was Gate City blanking Union. Lady Blue Devils win at 7-0. It was Lebanon 8. Virginia High's Lady Bearcats get shut out 8-0 by Lebanon. Marion's ladies beat Graham 11-1. And Twin Springs ladies, the Lady Fighting Titans, defeated Thomas Walker in girls softball. The final there was 12-1. In high school soccer, of course, the guys play in the spring, girls play in the fall. Beard and Blanks, Morristown West 7-0. Dobbins Minutes soccer guys double up Jeff County 4-2. Morristown East beat Seymour 7-3. Sevier County, the Smoky Bears beat South Doyle 3-1. Unicoi County 2, Sullivan South 1. All that again happening yesterday in Tennessee high school soccer. In Virginia soccer, the Gate City boys lose 6-3 to Union. The Gate City girls beat Union in soccer 7-0, and the Lebanon Lady Pioneers beat Virginia High 1-0 in girls high school soccer from yesterday in Virginia. So the boys and the girls play soccer in the spring in Virginia. In the Tennessee, it's the boys only in Tennessee high school soccer. And so that's what's happening there on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. We thank you for being with us. We are here again live at Chick-Fil-A, the Crossings in North Johnson City. Let's see. We told you about the tennis. The Buccaneers are going to play the Gamecocks. A little pro football news. How about it? The Raiders. The Oakland Raiders have checked off one more item on a long to-do list in their effort to move to L.A. after buying more than 60 acres near the Las Vegas Strip, where their partially tax-funded 65,000-seat stadium will be built. This is to build offices and to move everything from Oakland, including the headquarters of the Oakland Raiders, into Las Vegas. And so that will be happening soon. Raiders projected to be playing in the stadium during the 2020 season coming up in 3 years. Other NFL news, Jamal Charles, the Kansas City Chiefs' all-time leading rusher, signed a one-year deal, leaving the Chiefs to run for their rival, the Denver Broncos. Former Virginia Tech quarterback Gerard Evans signing a free agent deal with the Philadelphia Eagles. New York Jets said they will not exercise the option on fifth year for safety Calvin Pryor, the team's first-round draft pick back in 2014, said nope, we're not going to extend it for him. And the Buffalo Bills declined to pick up fifth-year option on receiver Sammy Watkins on his contract for the 2018 season. So there's some NFL news happening again on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. And again, if you missed it earlier in college football, Nick Saban, contract extension through 2024, $65 million over 8 years. This guy's making everything tidied up in a little package, making $11.1 million this year, counting a $4 million signing bonus and a $400,000 completion bonus. 65 years old. Of course, there's a lot of pressure and a lot of stress coaching University of Alabama football, but I think he'll be all right. I think he's got enough money to buy some heartburn medicine, so if he's stressed out, he's got, as I said, he's got some money in the bank to go out and get him some heartburn pills. Quick break. We'll be right back. Greg Salyer due to join us coming up. We're live here at Chick-Fil-A, the Crossings, North Johnson City. It's lunchtime at Chick-Fil-A. We'll be right back after this on show number 510 of the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City takes care of both male and female customers, but owner Kim Smith says they have a special care and concern for ladies.
Being a female in what's considered a man's business, I understand the trepidation that women may have when they come to the shop. They feel like they don't know about cars, they might be intimidated, but that's not the way we do business. Everybody's treated the same. We take the time to explain anything that they have questions about, the repair, the process, the part. We want to make sure people are comfortable with what we're going to do to their vehicle and that they understand. We do cater to women in a sense. We have a real nice waiting room with nice Keurig coffee and flavored creamers, air-conditioned, cushioned seats, TV, everything a girl could want while she waits for her car to be fixed.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111. At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they treat thousands of patients each year dealing with diabetes and its effects. Diabetes overtaking our nation and leaving a path of destruction behind. Through wound care, office visits, and preventive care, they see most of the patients after a problem arises. Using diabetic footwear such as shoes and inserts, a great way to prevent or prolong skin breakdown and amputation. At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they use only custom molds from patient mold inserts, which further ensure a great recovery, or better yet, prevents a wound from happening. They use custom molded shoes, bracing, custom inserts, and extra-depth diabetic shoes to prevent wounds or other skin issues from beginning. Call today, 1-800-524-4447. 39 years, 6 locations, 1 family. Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, 1-800-524-4447. If you're catching some waves or just playing in the yard, it is important to protect yourself. You may not feel the sun's heat, but UV rays can still damage your skin even in cloudy weather. Blue Lizard Sunscreen, recommended by pharmacists and dermatologists nationwide. Our SPF 30-plus formulations use only the highest quality ingredients for broad spectrum protection. As a reminder to protect yourself, our bottle turns blue when UV light is present. Blue Lizard, we've got you covered.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
Back to the Tom Taylor Sports Show. We'll let him get acclimated here and let him get settled in because he flew in here, and I understand that. Our buddy Greg Salyer. So we'll talk a little baseball coming up here in a minute. Again, back to the Kentucky Derby. They have a one-eyed horse, one-eyed colt running on Saturday, which I think is pretty cool. He's going to be my favorite right there. He's an underdog. His name is Patch, the one-eyed colt. So nobody really knows why he lost one of his eyes, but he will be going for the first leg of the Triple Crown at Churchill Downs on Saturday, apparently in the rain. Always Dreaming and Tapwrit will be a couple of the favorites. And if Patch comes up big, he'll be the first Derby winner with one eye, a one-eyed colt. So he's an underdog. I don't know how you, as a horse, take off. Well, I guess you can because your eyes are pointed forward. Just go. But he's my favorite, Patch, the one-eyed colt. So we think that's pretty cool stuff. We got Greg coming up here in just a minute talking Major League Baseball. We got Dave Angie at the bottom of the hour. We talked to Joe Vento from the Johnson City Press covering East Tennessee State. Big signing this morning. Another big guy coming to Buck basketball. Big 6'7" wide-body JUCO transfer. And that's a good thing for Coach. Hello, Miss Melissa. Just fine. How are you? Doing the sports show yet? Haven't seen you in years. You haven't changed a lick. I know, but yeah. But you haven't changed a lick. You still look like you did 10 years ago. Last time I saw you. So keep up the good work. You're welcome. I don't think she knew how to respond to that.
I don't think she did either.
No, I was just trying to be nice, trying to be courteous. You know how that goes every now and then. So, anyway, Greg's going to join us coming up here in just a second. Hey, our show brought to you by Grip Energy, our title sponsor of the show. They got a big race coming up on Saturday, the All-Star Tour coming to Kingsport Speedway. That'll be Saturday, May the 6th, this coming Saturday, featuring the Southeast Super Truck Series, presented by Food City. Bring the whole family for a fun-filled, action-packed, best short track racing in the South. Grandstands open at 12:30 on Saturday. Pole qualifying starts at 5, featuring the Southeast Super Trucks, Super Stocks Carolina Vintage, mini cups and front wheel drives. General admission $12. Kids 6 to 12 are $6. Senior citizens $8. Kids 5 and under get in free. It all starts at 12:30 on Saturday. The Grip Energy All-Star Tour coming to the Kingsport Speedway, better known as the Concrete Jungle. There you go. All right, let's see if he's on the screen, and he is. There's his magic name, and there's his magic face. And we're ready to go. That's our buddy Greg Salyer from the Major League Baseball Update. Good afternoon, sir. How you doing?
Hey, Tom. I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. As always, appreciate you coming by and talking a little baseball and We've got lots to talk about. We're going to run down the scoreboard here in just a second. And pretty interesting story. Did you see over the weekend when they broke the trophy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting they had the Cubs and the Red Sox trophies together, too.
Yes, I thought so, too. We're going to talk about it in a moment, but they broke the trophy this weekend at Fenway Park. Say more about that in a moment. Let's run down the scoreboard from last night. Arizona doubles up Washington 6-3. Pirates over the Reds 12-3. We'll let him talk about that in a moment. Tampa Bay beat Miami 3-1. Braves went over the Mets 9-7. Mets are in a tailspin, man. They have got injuries. The injury bug has bit that team for sure. You've got Atlanta beating the Mets 9-7. Cubbies over Philadelphia 8-3. Cardinals a 2-1 win over the Brewers. It was San Diego on the left coast beating Colorado 6-2, and the Dodgers over San Francisco 13-5 in the National League. In the American League last night, Yankees over Toronto 11-5. Boston beat Baltimore 5-2. Detroit over Cleveland 5-2. It was Tampa Bay 3, Miami 1. Houston beat the Rangers 8-7. Minnesota over Oakland 9-1. White Sox whitewashed Kansas City. Final was 6-0. And it was the Los Angeles Angels, Big Albert and the boys hanging around in the West. They win over Seattle 6-4. Here's your schedule. Everything under the lights in the National League tonight. Arizona at Washington, Miami at Tampa Bay, the Reds hosting Pittsburgh. Mets will be with DeGrom on the mound against Bartolo Colon in Atlanta. That'll be a 7:35 pitch in Atlanta. Philadelphia being the Wrigley Field confines, the battle of the Cubbies. Milwaukee at St. Louis. Colorado at San Diego, and San Francisco will be in L.A. to battle the Dodgers. In the American League, everything under the lights. Toronto at New York, Cleveland at Detroit. Baltimore continues their series in Fenway against the Red Sox. Miami at Tampa Bay, Oakland at Minnesota, Texas at Houston, White Sox at Kansas City, and the Angels will be in Seattle to battle the Mariners. That's how we kick off our Major League Baseball update with my man here, Greg Salyer. And you got 2 or 3 pages of stuff.
Yeah.
Jump in there and go. What do you want to talk about?
A lot of stuff. You know, we've been talking about the cycles a lot. We've had a lot of cycles this year.
Yeah, we have, haven't we?
Yeah, Carlos Gomez hit for the cycle this week. So, you know, another one of those. I'm going to look it up and see what is the record for the most cycles in a season and see if we maybe even starting to get close to that. But, you know, it's a little bit surprising that we've seen so many of those. And of course, we got to talk about Anthony Rendon and the day that he had on Sunday. That is just phenomenal. 6 for 6, 3 home runs, 10 RBIs, and 5 runs scored as the Nationals beat the Mets 23-5.
That's some guy's season right there one day.
Yeah, I mean, that was a career day for Anthony Rendon. You know, you just don't see that. The last player to have 10 RBIs in one game was Garrett Anderson. So not too far back, but a few years ago. So huge day.
And 3 home runs in one game is pretty unlikely feat too. It's happened, but it's not that common.
Yeah, it's not at all. So a big day. You know, you just don't see that happening very often.
We're talking to Greg Salyer. You see on the screen our Major League Baseball update. He joins us every week. Lots of info about Major League Baseball. So what else you got for us?
Well, the All-Star Game ballot is out.
Yeah, and there's controversy, isn't there?
Yeah, a little bit.
Now, tell me, I caught a little bit of that. I was getting ready to come over this morning, and I thought, well, I'll wait and let Greg tell us. So what's going on with the All-Star ballot?
A lot of that has to do with who's on the ballot and who's not on the ballot. There's a few players on the ballot this year that haven't had an official at-bat in the major leagues.
Well, seriously?
Yeah.
How do you do that? I mean, that's like putting me on there and putting you on there. We haven't played the first lick.
Yeah, almost. You know, that surprised me when I saw that. But as I was voting, I noticed that, and basically what has happened, the teams pick who's going to be their player at that particular position. And some of these guys, you know, they were their guy. They were the guy they thought would be their starter, and either an injury's occurred or something happened that they haven't played. And it's a little bit controversial because I mean, and then you have guys like someone like Michael Conforto, who is a good player, plays for the Mets. He's not on the ballot and is putting up some pretty good numbers, and he's playing because of an injured player, of course, but you know, a little bit of controversy there because you can't vote for him, you have to write him in.
We're talking to Greg Salyer, Major League Baseball updates. It makes absolutely no sense. Was that intentional? Was that just somebody messed up in the commissioner's office to put out a ballot with guys that never batted that can be an all-star? And somebody will put them in there just for kicks.
Oh, yeah, somebody will vote for them, you know.
Greg Salyer, Cincinnati Reds. The guy's never been on the field of the stadium. I mean, that's how bizarre that is. But anyway.
Yeah, they would. I mean, there would be people who vote, but then again, you look at some of these positions, and you think, who am I going to vote for?
Yeah.
I mean, like first base in the National League. I mean, who do you vote for? Do you vote for Rizzo? Do you vote for Goldschmidt? Votto's not having a great season, but a guy that typically will get a lot of votes probably as well. Who do you vote for? I mean, There's a lot of questions there. Some people are thinking too, you don't necessarily go for the player that's having the best season. If you do that for shortstop in the National League, it might be Zach Cozart. But a lot of people say, well, I'm not going to vote for a guy like Zach Cozart. He's not the big name guy. Let's put the name in.
Exactly.
And that's what happens. So it's always interesting to see how the All-Star balloting goes. And I've already voted 3 times, and I wait. I vote incrementally. I don't do all 35 votes in one day. But I voted 3 times yesterday, and I'll wait a while and then see who I think is deserving, and my votes will change.
You wait and see the All-Star game. There'll be Greg Sauer because he's voted for himself 3 times to be on, to be on the ballot. That'd be great.
Write myself in. Yeah.
And I would. Hey, you know what? If you were, I would vote you. If you put your name on the ballot, we'll load up the wagon, get everybody I know to say vote for Sauer to get him in there. We're live again at Chick-Fil-A, The Crossings, North Johnson City. You got time to talk for a minute or two? A little NBA. My man Jeremy Livesey, one of our great sponsors, in there getting a little lunch. So they put these guys on the All-Star ballot and have no official at bats. That's like grabbing him and saying, okay, put him on the ballot as a pitcher. He's never thrown the first pitch.
Well, I mean, it's a little different. I mean, they're at least on the 40-man roster.
Right. Well, no, I mean, it's not like them walking off the street, but still, you would think they have some numbers that justify being put on the ballot because it's supposed to be kind of numbers driven.
Yeah.
It becomes more of a popularity contest. But all right, so the All-Star game up to this point, when is it this year? They threw out the winning team is not, so it starts this year, right?
Yeah, it starts this year.
All right, so that's
a good move.
Yeah, that's off the charts. We're talking to Greg Sauer, talking Major League Baseball. What else you got? You got Adam Jones?
Yeah, right? Adam Jones, of all people, was the subject of some racial taunts, and then somebody threw a bag of peanuts at him as he's on the field, and it kind of got ugly there in Fenway.
Now, I got to stop right here. I got to ask a question. I don't know if what's the core. I mean, I've been hit with peanuts before, and I never took it as a racial thing. I mean, somebody said something. I mean, I've been hit with a lot of things in my life, and I never took it racial. So, I mean, is the source of the problem the bag of peanuts, or what somebody said to him?
I think it was what the fans were saying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that the fans are throwing something at a player, is not good. That just doesn't need to happen. I know one time when Barry Bonds was playing, somebody threw a 9-volt battery and just whizzed it by his head, and I wasn't a Barry Bonds fan, but I don't want to see anybody get hit in the head with a 9-volt battery.
Yeah.
There's really just no place in baseball for these types of things to happen. The Red Sox issued an apology, but a team shouldn't have to apologize for their fans. I mean, they just shouldn't have to do that. I have sat in stadiums and I've seen things personally, not necessarily racial things, but I have heard fans yelling things and saying things to players that were just completely and totally uncalled for. And I've seen fans get in a player's head to where he couldn't make a play. Mm-hmm. I've actually seen a left fielder drop a fly ball, I think, because of that very thing.
We're talking to Greg Sauer, talking Major League Baseball. Jeremy's going to hang for a minute. I want you to analyze my Spurs. I think we're in trouble. Not looking good. And the Raptors, Raptors in Cleveland tonight, Houston and San Antonio tonight. Last night, Isaiah Thomas drops 53. John Wall dropped in 40 in losing calls. We'll talk a little NBA here in a second. Can you hang for a few minutes? This guy, one of our great sponsors. What are you up to now in closings? What's the magic number? It was unbelievable.
Wow.
Unbelievable. You had 5 last Friday, 5 closings?
Wow.
We'll let him toot his own horn in a minute, but you're looking to make some real estate moves. This is a guy who can get you bought and get you in a home, all right?
Two big injuries when you talk about Noah Syndergaard.
Yeah, Thor.
Yeah, partially torn lat muscle, placed on a 10-day disabled list. He's going to be out longer than that. He's going to be out weeks or months with this.
Now, the Mets, See, I got a problem with this. I can't figure out who I want to blame because Thor Syndergaard, he got hurt his last outing.
Yeah.
The Mets wanted him to do an MRI. He refused it. So then he goes back out the second time, gets hurt. General manager Sandy Alderson says, I take full blame. I don't think he takes full blame. This guy's a grown man, and he should know, you err on the side it's a long season. Go get checked out. Make sure you're okay. He said, no, I'm okay. Takes the ball, goes to his next pitching assignment, walks off. He left early in the game. Now he's on the disabled list.
Yeah.
See, I blame Syndergaard. I mean, he should have done his due diligence and went through protocol and got checked out. Okay, I'm done. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, you're right.
I feel better.
You're right.
Just got it out of my system.
The only thing you can say for the Mets is if they know, which they did, but if they know going into this thing that, okay, he's a competitor, he wants to compete, he wants to be out there, but yet he's in no shape to do it. Terry Collins should have said, hey, let's sit this one out. Let's see what happens in a day or two, and we'll put you back in another spot in the rotation. But the Mets weren't willing to do that. I mean, that makes some major changes to your team. That's going to affect some things. Not as much as losing him, though, for what could be maybe even the season because of this torn muscle, though.
At the end of the day, again, I go back to he is an employee of the New York Mets. The Mets say, go get an MRI. You go get an MRI.
Yeah.
If Danny over here tells Judy to go home because she's sick, I don't want to. You're going home because you're sick. I'm paying you. You're on payroll. So Syndergaard, you're getting a check from the Mets. The Mets say you need an MRI to get checked out.
And the Mets are going to pay for it, too.
The Mets are going to pay for it. And he said no. I said, so it's all on him.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Whew, I feel better. I got that out of my system. I've been waiting for 2 days to talk about that. Okay, go ahead.
And then Adam Eaton. Okay, we can't blame Adam Eaton for his injury.
No, can't blame him. Tell folks what happened to Adam Eaton.
Oh, felt so bad for this guy. A little bit of a wet, sloppy game, and messes his knee up going across first base, and that's just always an ugly injury. I hate to see that, and so he's going to be out for the season. Tore his ACL, and that's a blow for the Washington Nationals. They gave up some good young pitchers to get him this year, so. That's a blow for the Nationals. I think they'll overcome it. I think they've got players they can put in place that will play sufficiently there. But the Nationals are going to miss him.
Greg Salyer with us, Major League Baseball update. Anything else?
Yeah, let's talk about Brian Mitchell for just a second with the Yankees. I don't know if you heard this or not, but
Brian Mitchell.
The relief pitcher pitched the 9th inning on Sunday for the Yankees. They say to him, hey, you think you can play first base? Because the Yankees tie the game in the bottom of the 9th. And he said, well, yeah, I've played first base. He played first base in high school. Was the last time he played first base. So he says, yeah, I can play first base. So they bring in Aroldis Chapman to pitch the 10th.
Right.
And
they put Mitchell at first.
Put Mitchell at first. He dropped a
train wreck.
Well, no, not horribly, but he dropped a foul ball that he easily should have caught. Caught another one, though, did catch one out of 2. And then they brought him back in to pitch in the 11th inning. And unfortunately, he got the loss in the game. But it's always interesting to see these pitchers playing other positions on the field. I was at a game in 1986 in Cincinnati where Davey Johnson did that with the Mets. He put Roger McDowell in right field, and Jesse Orozco was pitching. And depending on the left-handed or right-handed batters, he would flip-flop them, and he would move them back and forth between right field and pitching. And he did that for several innings. It was a 14-inning game, and the Mets ended up winning the game.
Wow.
So I've seen that in person. Now, Pete Rose was managing the Reds at the time, and Pete had a fit. But, that was the most interesting game I've ever been to, most exciting game I've ever been to as well.
We're talking to Greg Salyer, Major League Baseball. Again, we got to talk about this real quick, and I want to get Jeremy in here. Of course, we got to find out what's going on at the church house, but they're passing the trophy this weekend in Boston. I love this World Series trophy. They're passing it, and somebody dropped it and broke it. I mean, what? The Cubs visiting the Red Sox in Boston this past weekend. Cubs president and former Red Sox boss Theo Epstein puts on a charity concert along with his brother, calling it Hot Stove Cool Music. It's about 1 o'clock in the morning, so I'm probably thinking adult beverages are involved and people are getting a little snockered. So they bring out, for whatever reason, the World Series trophies, the 2004 Red Sox and the 2016 Cubs World Series trophy, and they start passing through the crowd.
Yeah.
What? So some of the flags on top of the Cubs trophy broke off. I hear somebody drop and go, whoops, because they're all snockered, I guess. I assume they were. A woman think at 1 o'clock in the morning there's alcohol involved, I would think, and they dropped the trophy and broke it. The pieces were later retrieved. The trophy was repaired in time to be displayed alongside the Red Sox trophy at Sunday's primetime Cubs-Sox game at Fenway. So, but wow, I'm missing something here. You're passing out the World Series trophy from 2004 and 2016, Red Sox and Cubs respectively. It's like bringing it here, just passing it around. Here, you want to hold it, Jeremy? Whoops. You want to hold it, Tom? Whoops. Broke the flags off. So anyway, nuts. Crazy stuff.
In Cincinnati, they're behind plexiglass. You can
for a reason.
You can see them, but you can't touch them.
For a reason, yeah.
So they've got three of the ones that with the flags that they look like they do now. And so,
Mr. Livesey, off mic, said they haven't had a trophy in years. They don't know what to do with it. So, saying to a devoted Reds fan, that's just like throwing gas on the fire. There you go.
Yeah,
there you go. Well, anyway, what's happening to the church house this weekend?
This Sunday, I am. We've been in Ezekiel for like a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like it, almost a year and a quarter at least. And Sunday morning, we are to that classic passage in Ezekiel, the one passage that if you mention Ezekiel, everyone thinks of, and that's the Valley of Dry Bones. So I'm moving that one to Sunday morning.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we're going to be Sunday morning, Ezekiel, and looking at the Valley of Dry Bones, and it's going to be, I think, a good day. My wife is singing the new song, Dry Bones Come Alive, too, by the way.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
It's going to be a good day at the church house
pretty
on
excited
Sunday.
About that.
We'll take good job. You hungry?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. We'll take a quick break, come right back. Jeremy's going to jump in and do a cameo appearance before Anji gets here, talking about the NBA and also about Mortgage Investors Group. We'll take a break. We'll be right back.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City takes care of both male and female customers, but owner Kim Smith says they have a special care and concern for ladies.
Being a female in what's considered a man's business, I understand the trepidation that women may have when they come to the shop. They feel like they don't know about cars, they might be intimidated, but that's not the way we do business. Everybody's treated the same. We take the time to explain anything that they have questions about, the repair, the process, the part. We want to make sure people are comfortable with what we're going to do to their vehicle and that they understand. We do cater to women in a sense. We have a real nice waiting room with nice Keurig coffee and flavored creamers, air-conditioned, cushioned seats, TV, everything a girl could want while she waits for her car to be fixed.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111. At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they treat thousands of patients each year dealing with diabetes and its effects. Diabetes overtaking our nation and leaving a path of destruction behind. Through wound care, office visits, and preventive care, they see most of the patients after a problem arises. Using diabetic footwear such as shoes and inserts, a great way to prevent or prolong skin breakdown and amputation. At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they use only custom molds from patient mold inserts, which further ensure a great recovery, or better yet, prevents a wound from happening. They use custom molded shoes, bracing, custom inserts, and extra depth diabetic shoes to prevent wounds or other skin issues from beginning. Call today, 1-800-524-4447. 39 years, 6 locations, 1 family. Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, 1-800-524-4447. If you're catching some waves or just playing in the yard, it is important to protect yourself. You may not feel the sun's heat, but UV rays can still damage your skin even in cloudy weather. Blue Lizard Sunscreen, recommended by pharmacists and dermatologists nationwide. Our SPF 30-plus formulations use only the highest quality ingredients for broad spectrum protection. As a reminder to protect yourself, our bottle turns blue when UV light is present. Blue Lizard, we've got you covered.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
Back live again at the Tom Taylor Sports Show. He stopped by for a second. We got Mr. Angie waiting in the wings. We're going to load him up. My man Jeremy Livesy's in the house from Mortgage Investors Group. There he is. Stop by, give him a little lunch. How you doing, Bubba?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. How many closings so far now?
I think we're at 57 or 58.
57. You got 5 on Friday, is that right?
We had 5 last Friday.
Last Friday.
Yes.
5 closings last Friday.
Yeah, we closed out April well.
So what is, what's the buzz? What are people looking for right now?
Houses in general now, because the inventory is down so much. So we got a lot of people just waiting for people to put their houses on the market. And if you put your house on the market, if it's under $200,000, it's under contract within probably a day or two.
Really?
Yeah, it's going fast. So
awesome.
Yeah, that's why we want to get them pre-qualified first, so they don't screw around.
Yep. Come in, let Jeremy talk to you. JeremyLivesy.com. And let him pre-qualify. Then you can go out and shop, and you know what you want, and you know what you can get, because he's pre-qualified you. So he's doing a great job. We love having him as our sponsor, one of our great sponsors here on the show. He is a big fan of the NBA. So let's take a look at last night. Isaiah Thomas drops 53 in the bucket.
Yes.
Celtics beat Washington 129-119. They lead at 2-0. Wizards in trouble going back to Washington.
Yes.
Okay.
A lot of trouble, actually.
A lot of trouble. John Wall had 40 and 13 rebounds and a losing cause.
Yeah, he ran out of gas.
Yeah.
I think he looked kind of slow in the fourth, and in the overtime, he didn't really have much. So
last night, Golden State, Steph had 22. Durant had 17. No problem to Utah. 106-94.
They'll sweep this.
Yeah, I was going to say, get the broom out on that one.
Yeah.
All right, tonight, Cleveland, the Cavaliers, the world champion, defending NBA champions, taking on the Toronto Raptors. Any problem?
No.
Okay.
The Raptors, I mean, they're good, but LeBron, he's in another level right now. He's probably in the best shape I've ever seen him in, and he's just going to carry it. So he's fine.
What about my boys? We in trouble?
They're in trouble.
You're not supposed to come and say that. You're supposed to say they're going to get everything worked out, Tom.
No, the Rockets, they don't slow down. I don't think they can shoot like they did the other night, but I have never seen a sloppier game by the Spurs. I'm sure Popovich laid into him. So
126-99 got beat by 27 the other night.
Yeah, that was rough.
Now, the Rockets are a track meet team, and the Spurs are bringing down, methodically set up, run your offense. So it's fast break versus set up, and the other night, fast break won.
They couldn't even move the ball around. I mean,
wait a minute.
They were. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the stat was on the turnovers, but I know there was double digits.
Well, I'm glad Jeremy came by to see me today. That's good. Tom, they can't play dead. They're awful. So they struggled.
Yeah, Kawhi can't do it by himself. So
tonight's the series for me. If they can't get them tonight, then they're in trouble because they're going back to Houston.
Yep,
so the Spurs have got to win this game tonight.
Yeah.
So now, are things going as you thought as far as Eastern Conference, Western Conference?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of thought that OKC would give a little bit more of a fight on the first round, but obviously that didn't happen. And I did enjoy the Hawks Wizards. That was a good series, but it's going to come down to Golden State and Cleveland again, and just like it was the last couple of years.
So Celtics, Cavaliers, and maybe the hey buddy, how you doing? Long time no see. Life still treating you good, I hope. Bass Pro Shop. It's Bristol, baby. Yep. What was I doing? Lost my train of thought.
Oh, your finals matchups?
Oh, the final matchup.
Oh,
yeah. You got Cavaliers, probably the Celtics.
Yeah, they can take them.
Golden State
and
Houston and San Antonio is kind of up for grabs, although tonight's the pivotal game.
Tonight's it. I think it's going to be Golden State again. I mean, they're not even playing hard.
No.
So, I mean, they're going to be fine.
I remember Popovich said in the middle of the season, after they got had their clocks cleaned up there in Golden State, he said there's no answer for Golden State. They're the complete team. Yeah, they got everything going.
They have
for
4 All-Stars on the floor at all times. So.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, my man Jeremy Livesey. So again, how do we get a hold of you to find out more about how you can help them?
Either through the website at jeremylivesey.com or the cell phone 335-5005.
How did the grip energy? You still got them? You need another care package?
I probably need another care package.
Went through them pretty good?
That would be great to take to the beach.
Done. We'll make sure that happens. What flavor you want?
I like pineapple. So, but if you got the grapes in yet, we'll take some of them.
All right. Pineapple.
Yeah. And Ashley likes the root beer. So.
Mrs.
Mrs. likes the root beer.
You.
So we
gotta keep Mama happy.
Exactly.
Mama likes the root beer.
Exactly.
Gotcha. All right. I'll make sure you get some of that before you head off to the beach.
I appreciate that.
You're a good guy.
Yeah.
This guy's class act right there. We're going to take a quick break. Come right back. Dave Angie joins us coming up next, talking sports. Show number 510 of the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
At American Import Auto Repair in Johnson City, one of the things that owner Tim Smith is most proud of is their hard-earned certifications.
We are an ASE Blue Seal shop, which is important because what it tells the customer is we care enough to get certified, not in one certain area of cars. You have to be certified in 8 different certifications, in 8 different tests you have to take, and you have to be updated on them yearly to make sure that you're up to date. We not only have one of those, we have 3 ASE Master Technicians here. With the ratio, goes into a ratio, and we're a Blue Seal shop. So it tells you that we care about training and we care about knowing about your car. We want to help fix it right.
American Import Auto Repair, West Market Street, Johnson City, home of the free loaner car program. Open 6 days a week. Call today, 913-3111.
Hi, I'm Rob Cole with Bays Mountain Park. There's something for everyone at Bays Mountain Park. Whether you're an outdoor enthusiast or simply looking to get away and relax, Bays Mountain Park in Kingsport, Tennessee is the perfect destination. For only $4 per vehicle, enjoy 3,500 acres of breathtaking scenery, featuring 40 miles of hiking trails, wildlife habitat, one of the Southeast's premier planetariums, and much, much more. For more information, please visit www.baysmountain.com or call us at 423-229-9447. Bays Mountain Park, one of the Tri-City's best places for learning, leisure, and recreation.
If you're catching some waves or just playing in the yard, it is important to protect yourself. You may not feel the sun's heat, but UV rays can still damage your skin even in cloudy weather. Blue Lizard Sunscreen, recommended by pharmacists and dermatologists nationwide. Our SPF 30-plus formulations use only the highest quality ingredients for broad spectrum protection. As a reminder to protect yourself, our bottle turns blue when UV light is present. Blue Lizard, we've got you covered.
Your life is always changing. You never know what shape it will take, or how your financial needs might change. But if we talk about your investments and how they can provide for you and your family, the future becomes clear. At Wells Fargo Advisors, we believe conversation leads to financial clarity. Let's start a conversation today.
Back live, Chick-Fil-A. This guy is hilarious. Here's the question he posed to me, which actually probably makes sense. I said, you know anything about horse racing? You want to talk about horse racing? He said, not really. He said, wonder if the horses know anything. Wonder if they know what's going on. I don't know what's going on half the time, but I know one thing. The horse I'm going to pull for us, it had in the Johnson City Press, Patch,
yeah.
The one-eye horse.
Yeah.
So,
yes,
Kentucky Derby in the Mud coming up Saturday. We'll talk more about that later on this week. We are joined by my man Dave Angie from the Johnson City Press. A plethora of topics we're going to cover, and let's jump in baseball. Noah Syndergaard. We talked about this earlier in the show. Syndergaard has some problems. The team wanting to get an MRI. He refused. They give him the baseball. He said, I'm going to pitch Sunday. I'll be okay. I'm not going to get an MRI to see what's going on. So then he goes out Sunday, has a very limited start, is hurt, is down on the disabled list, maybe done for the year. I know he's going to be done for an extended period of time. Who's right, who's wrong? I say it's Syndergaard's fault. Some folks say it's the Mets' fault. Who do you say?
His problems, they stretch back a little ways. I think he got way too into the weight training. For a guy that already threw the ball 99 miles an hour, he wanted to get bigger. I think he bought into the whole superhero image they have of the guy. They call him Thor, and so next thing you know, he goes in this offseason, he gets in the weight room, and if you lose that flexibility in your shoulders, and you're a pitcher or you're a golfer, because I think the same, the problem with Tiger Woods, if you look at his issues, I think those go back to the weight room too. There's a guy that's trying to get too bulked up to play the sport and do the repetitive motion that you have to do in golf, and I think that's cost him the second half of his career. And I think when you look at Syndergaard, you look at it probably a similar situation where he lost some flexibility in his shoulder, and I think that's led to an injury in this case. And you always hate to see that. He should have gone to get the MRI. I mean, I don't understand why you don't, because for him, a guy that his career depends on his shoulder. We see a lot of things where athletes, they want to err on the side of caution, and the team wants to put him out there, particularly in football. But in this case, for an athlete to throw his own, self-preservation to the side in order to go out there and try to get a start in May, no less. It's not like we're in a pennant chase down in September. To me, that's a rough situation. He's done it to himself, and it's going to end up probably costing him a lot of money. I think he's out at least 3 months from what they're saying.
Well, yeah, I'm right there with you. I think it's selfish, to be quite honest. So, because it is May, it's a long season. Get it checked out, make sure you're okay, and be there when we need you down the stretch run. And now he's not. He's not going to be there, as Dave said, for 3 months out of a Major League Baseball season. It's a long time. So, anyway, Syndergaard's on the shelf. Thor's out for the time being. And that's a team that's just been decimated again by injuries, much like they were last year. So, they've had several key players. Cespedes is on the DL or has been injured, and so they've got several folks trying to get it going, get it revved up for the New York Mets in Major League Baseball. We're talking to Dave Angie from the Johnson City Press. Switching gears, college football. Mr. Saban gets a contract extension through 2024, going to pay him $11 million a year. He got a $4 million signing bonus, a $400,000 completion clause. Now, he has said, I'll be the highest paid coach in college football. Your guy was the one that was the highest, and so he went in and said, I told you, as long as I'm in Alabama, I'm going to be the highest paid coach. So he's 65 years old. He's making $11 million a year, almost $1 million a game. And so Harbaugh's right there behind him. Now, will Harbaugh come back and it will be a tit for tat?
I don't think that'll be the situation. But you will see another coach at some point who becomes a hot commodity that will leapfrog, and then they'll go back and adjust. I think with Harbaugh, he's set for a while. From what I understand, he's good with what he's making. The big thing with Harbaugh that he's wanted to do is be sure that he can compensate his assistants, because when you lose assistant coaches, when you're a college football coach, you're not there coaching up every player at every position. People get that misnomer. If you don't have a good staff around you, you're going to be in trouble in a hurry, because you have to have those position coaches on top of it, not only for recruiting, but to coach the guys once they get in there, so you keep seeing that improvement and you're able to keep pace on the field. So, I think he's invested more money into assistant coaches, and they've had to rehire 2 or 3 with guys just going on to new opportunities. So, but you will see a coach jump that mark, and it'll keep going up because it does in all sports. And, I don't have as much of a problem with it in the NFL or NBA, but when you start looking at a deal where those players don't get anything out of it other than education, and you're paying a coach $11 million, they talk about the optics a lot. The optics of that just don't look great, but it is what it is. As of right now, the system is that capitalism's okay for the coaches. It's for the players. If they start talking about it, everybody gets nervous. So. But right now, that's where we're at. It's a lot of money, and of course, there'll be a lot of pressure that comes with that. But what we've learned about Saban is, I think he is the best coach in college football because his track record says he is. So if anybody should be making it, at least it's him.
We're talking to Dave Angie, the Johnson City Press. You see it on the screen. Our show brought to you by Grip Energy Drink at all Food City locations. They've got the lemon lime, you got the pink grapefruit, they got the pineapple, you got the root beer and the white grape. Have you ever had any of these? I need to get you some.
Yeah, that'd be good. If you think I need more energy, I must be dragging this morning.
You know, the Mets have got Thor. We've got Thud here, Johnson.
You got Thud,
City.
yeah.
My man Thud Angie. No, I don't think you're dragging. I thought I'd kind of offer those as
that'd be great.
As
yeah.
gimmies to all my buddies, my guests. So I've got a little care package out in the car. I'll go out and get you a couple and
I'll tell you
take
this.
one home to Mrs. Angie. And
I went in this morning and I helped my daughter's classroom, her first grade classroom, do an art project. It was paint, and I have no paint on me, so I think I was really successful with that. And but yeah, that I told them when I left, when I signed out in the office, I said, "Man, that's the hardest I'm going to work all day." You know, that was a wild experience there. So yeah, I might need a grip. I need
a little grip, get a little energy bag.
I need to get a grip.
My man
as
Angie.
they say, yep.
You get a grip. We're talking sports. We hit him with a lot of different topics, and we're going to find out what he's going to be covering. I would assume the tournament coming up here. We'll talk about the coin toss. Got to be a better system. We'll talk about that in a moment. Yep. NFL draft. 3 or 4 days out now. The smoke is cleared. Who do you feel like were the big winners, and who do you feel like were the folks that didn't really better themselves?
I still don't know what the Chicago Bears were doing. I have no clue what the Chicago Bears were doing. They, you know, if this kid from North Carolina turns out to be a great quarterback somehow, then that'll redeem him. But I don't see it. A lot of other people don't see it. You know, the thing about the draft is I think you have to look back maybe 3 years down the road and kind of see. But, you know, for them to trade up and get a guy they could have gotten anyway, you know, it just is mind-boggling. So I think that's one. I think the Buffalo Bills, I was really shocked. And, of course, they fired the general manager since the draft, you know, because they went and got a guy from Florida who is accused of some very serious domestic violence at the moment. Mm-hmm. And the owner apparently didn't know that, because an hour after that pick was made, the owner said, you know, we might release this guy. We picked him an hour ago. We spent a draft pick on him, which, if you know anything about the NFL, the draft picks are incredibly valuable. So they spent picks on him, or a pick on him, and now they're going to, you know, might end up cutting him, is what they're saying an hour later, and then their GM loses his job. So that's pretty tough. In terms of teams that did a good job, I really thought the Titans did great. You know, I think they went out and got a cornerback, which was obviously a huge need for them. They got 2 of the better receivers in the draft, two more weapons for Mariota, a really good tight end as well. You know, you start looking at that, and you think, well, they did a pretty good job. I think they may have to go through trades or free agency or something to get a little bit more help in the defensive backfield, because that's the one glaring weakness on this team. But other than that, I think they really addressed a lot of needs. And the Cleveland Browns, as crazy it is to say that, I think they had a wonderful draft. I think they went out, got a lot of players that are going to help them right away. They made good use of all those draft picks that they had stored up. They made good trades, I believe, to get in positions to get players who can help them immediately. So they did well. And also the last one, the Dallas Cowboys. I thought defensively, you know, they really addressed some needs and really got some good football players. I think, you know, especially the value for where they picked them. They got some guys that are going to help early on, and yeah, good draft by those teams.
All right, my guys, the Raiders go out and get Conley, the corner from Ohio State's got a track record. He's got some sexual violence situations going on. Of course, he's been accused but not convicted.
Yep.
Raiders say he's innocent until proven guilty. If it comes to the forefront that he was in fact guilty, we'll deal with him then. As a team, as a owner, not just the Raiders, how do you handle that with accusations flying about some of these guys? Not necessarily they're guilty, but there's accusation. Now some are guilty, like Mixon from Oklahoma.
Yeah.
They took a chance on him. Let's see, where'd he end up going? He went to Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Went to the Bengals. Joe Mixon. So,
well, you know, the difficulty.
How do you handle that?
The difficulty with Conley is that accusation came so close to the draft that there was no time for anybody to get to the bottom of that. You know, so that pick right there, I can see making that pick and say, look, we know very little about this. This is so early on. We need to, you know, this is going to have to play itself out. You know, it did cost that kid. He would have been, you know, a first-round pick, a lot higher up than what he was, wound up dropping. You know, and then they took him and said, okay, you know, we're going to see where it goes from here. But when you look at a situation like Mixon and the, you know, video evidence that's out there, you know, in that case, and you know, that's one where you are legitimately given a second chance. You know, and that opens a whole can of worms there too, that I don't think you have with Conley, just because that one is so early on.
We're talking again to our buddy Dave Angie at the Johnson City Press. We're live here at the Tom Taylor Sports Show, show number 510. So NFL draft, we covered that one pretty good. Let's see. Oh, want to ask you about the NBA. Talked to Jeremy Livesey about that a few minutes ago. Spurs, Houston. You've got Toronto and Cleveland tonight, Boston and Washington, and Utah and Golden State. Who do you look coming out of that?
It looks to me, at least from the early returns, that those series could be over with pretty quick. The one that surprised me most was Houston and what they were able to do with San Antonio. But, I think that there's a chance that that Golden State, Boston, and Cleveland are going to be able to sweep their series. I think that San Antonio and Houston could still turn into a good series and could be competitive. The thing is, I just don't know if Houston's going to be able to knock down the amount of three-pointers they knocked down in that first game. That was crazy. Everything they shot went in. That team's built well, and they're built to do that, where Harden drives to the middle and he kicks to whoever's open, which makes them really, really hard to defend. I don't think they'll hit the threes at the pace they did, which will give San Antonio a chance to win a game or two and then try to figure it out. But right now I see Houston winning that thing, and I see the other three teams sweeping just because it doesn't seem like good matchups in any of those series.
Well, the problem with the Spurs was they hit 22 threes in San Antonio. They played a night there, and then they go to 3 and 4 in Houston on their home floor. So I don't know if they can keep up the 22 threes they made or not. That's pretty phenomenal. But they're a racehorse, up fast-tempo basketball team. The Spurs are not. They're very methodical, come across half court, set up the play, run your screens and whatever. So it's track meet versus set up and play, and track meet won the other night big time.
And that's the one thing you hear from all these coaches is, no matter what your style is, your style has to win out in a given game, and that's the thing is Houston's style won out. Now I'll tell you, if those threes aren't dropping, that's a whole different basketball game, because if you're shooting threes, you hear it a lot. You live by the three, you die by the three. And the thing is, if you're missing it and San Antonio's rebounding, next thing you know, you've had a 5-second, 10-second possession where you fired a shot up, it didn't go. San Antonio comes down and works the whole 24-second shot clock. Next thing you know, you're playing defense a lot, and their style wins out, and they win a game that's in the 80s, or they win a couple games in the 80s, and they can do that in Houston. It just makes it a lot harder when you have to recover that home court advantage on the road.
On the local scene, high school baseball, Science Hill Dobbins Minute got down to decide the championship, and the first seed, number one seed in the tournament coming up, starting Friday, theoretically, weather permitting, at Daniel Boone, was a coin flip. Tell me about that.
Oh, yeah, it came down to a coin toss, which, nobody was really all that happy about it. They just haven't really found a solution yet, to how to decide it on the field. Everybody plays, they have, I think, they need to find a certain degree of way to do a tiebreaker. But right now it's the coin flip. It didn't used to be that big of a deal when this happened, when they had 8 teams in the league, because of the fact that, all it is basically is seeding. You're a 1 or a 2. But this time with 7 teams, it was for a bye in the first round, which is a huge deal. Science Hill's going to have to play an extra game now to go through in order to get in there, which means they have to use more pitching. And in high school baseball, especially with pitch counts nowadays, pitching is huge. You have to have your pitching set up, and I think that puts DB in a slightly better position. And both coaches said they needed to sit down, they need to look at it. Run differential is a possible way to do it. If that were the case, DB would have won it outright on the field, because they won a game 11-4, and then I think Science Hill beat them 4-3 in the other game, so that run differential would do it. But that's something they need to look at, and they need to find a way to at least have something concrete that everybody knows going into the season. This is how a tie is going to be broken, because flipping coins. There was a lot riding on that when that quarter went in the air the other day.
That's crazy, because football has a tiebreaker format. Basketball, they've got them, 4 or 5 different levels to get to where you need to get. And so baseball, that's not good, coaches. I fault the coaches. Baseball has no tiebreaker system. So you get down to a coin flip. All the games, all the innings, all the pitches, everything gets down to decide. And as you said, the loser of that deal was Science Hill, I guess, is what you're saying.
Yeah, they were.
So that puts them behind the 8 ball. Why would they not sit down as coaches and say, guys, we got to have a better system?
Yeah, they're going to have a meeting about that, and there's a lot that goes into it too, behind the scenes and everything with, you have to have some things that are equitable between sports, and, there's some stuff that they have to look into. But I think this is one that they're going to be motivated to sit down to get done at this point. And, I think it's for the good of everybody. I think, it's tough when you're a player and maybe a senior, and kind of the course of your senior year is changed by how a coin fell. That's tough to deal with. And I've seen coin flips at all levels. It happens in volleyball, and those can be those can be pretty heated. I was in a meeting one time, and I won't reveal who the two coaches were, but they had a coin flip to see who was going to call the coin flip for the seating. So, and I'll leave names out of that one, but
a little tense.
Yeah,
a little tense.
Yeah, it was. I'll tell you, you could have cut it with a knife in that room. The tension was in the air.
I mean, for heaven's sakes, why would you say? I'm amazed. I didn't realize they didn't have a tie-breaking system in high school baseball, at least in the Big Seven. Three Rivers does. I mean, I know they've got tie-break. I mean, it's the biggest conference. It's the premier baseball conference, and there's no tie-breaking system because the coaches can't sit down and figure something out.
Yeah, I think they'll sit down with the ADs, and I think the motivation's there. Like Ryan Wagner was saying from DB the other day, he said, I think the 7 years he's coached, this has happened 3 times. There's been coin flips in his three years there, and it just has to do with kind of how even some of the teams are in the league, and especially Science Hill DB year in and year out. I mean, they tend to split a lot, and so it gets interesting, but just kind of added to the drama yesterday morning.
Yes, I would mandate, if I was a coach in that league, we are going to have a tiebreaker system in place, so we get down to runs, winning record versus winning record, in conference record versus out of. We would come up with like a 4 or 5 plateau system to determine the tiebreaker. That's so unfair to those kids to play all those innings and put it all on the line and go to a coin flip. That's nuts. But they didn't ask me. So last thing before I let you go, NASCAR. We're heading off to Talladega, the biggest track in NASCAR coming up this weekend. You got some teams that are desperately looking for wins. Joe Gibbs being one of those. Stuart Haas is not doing so hot. Team Penske is the hot team. I read where Keselowski's crew chief is going to be suspended for the race Sunday. Paul Wolf's not going to be on the pit box because of some infractions in the Keselowski camp. So RCR, Rick Hendrick, Joe Gibbs. Well, Hendrick's won a couple of times with JJ, but for sure Joe Gibbs and Stuart Haas, they've not done much this season.
Yeah, it's for Gibbs it's kind of puzzling, because they've been fast a lot of places, and they've been fast, in practice. They've been faster in races, and just like we saw with Kyle Busch last week, there's a car that could have won the race. Matt Kenseth, for a long stretch, could have won that race, and then it just didn't. At the end, it didn't happen. It didn't shake out the way they needed it to. So, I think they'll take consolation in the fact that they're fast, but this is a track where, if you're lagging behind on the 1.5 miles, especially if your program's a little bit behind everybody else, you look at it as a huge opportunity to get in that draft and then try to make some moves at the end of the race to push yourself out there in front and get a win. And we've seen a lot of surprising winners over the years, and especially with this chase format, a win is just worth so much more even than it used to be worth. Back in the old point system years and years ago. So, I think getting a win will likely lock somebody in, and it would be a big development there. So I'm sure those teams you're talking about that are struggling a little bit will really up their game this week, and I think that'll kind of lend itself to a more frenetic race. I think you can see, especially with stage wins and all that up for grabs, you're going to see a lot more activity early and a lot more action, and it's going to be pretty fun to watch.
Yep. Going to be a great weekend racing in Talladega, the Xfinity Series and Monster Energy. Of course, trucks will pick back up next weekend at Kansas Speedway, next stop of the NASCAR season. So, what are you covering this week?
Oh boy, baseball.
Between the raindrops.
When the rain stops, we're going to cover some baseball. It's the first meeting I've gone to where they had 3 brackets. They had the bracket that they're hoping works. They have a plan B for if it rains on Friday and they get to play Saturday. And it's the first option C bracket I've ever seen where the tournament starts Sunday afternoon. So, everybody's hoping that they can get it going Saturday. I know the coaches, as they look to line their pitching up for the regional tournament, really need that game to happen Saturday, for them to play that round then. So that's what they're hoping. So I'm covering that. I'm writing a story today on Milligan Cycling program, which won another national championship even after moving up in competition a little bit. So just kind of a busy week. Looking forward to getting the high school stuff started.
Yeah, Milligan baseball plays this afternoon again against Point. The opening round of the AAC baseball tournament in Kingsport at Hunter Wright Stadium. We'll be bringing you Elizabethton baseball, even though it's on the turf at DB. I still don't see them playing ball. It's supposed to rain all day Friday and Saturday. It's supposed to be cold. And say again, this is me, but you got the coaches that come up with 3 different brackets of the playoffs, but they can't come up with the tiebreaker system.
Yeah.
I don't get that.
Well,
And then the other part of this, too, is, you play all season long. You can't control the weather, but if I have to wait and start on Sunday to give these kids, this is one shot, single elimination on these tournaments the first day. So I'm going to put them on the field in the best possible weather conditions. I don't care if it's, if you got to wait 2 days, raining and 50 on Friday and raining and 60s on Saturday. And they said, we can play if it's on artificial turf. That's not fair to these kids. This is their whole season come down in one game. Am I right or wrong? You want to put them out there in the best possible scenario to do the best they can do and not play and let the weather be a reason they do or don't succeed.
Yeah, the only reason I see putting them out there early is that pitching. And when you get down to AA level, you really want to have your ace lined up because, you have, I think, less arms there in AA than you do anywhere else. So that's the only argument to put them out there. And if it does wind up happening that way, you just you hope there's some real mental toughness in your team because it's hard to concentrate. It's hard to hit the ball. It's hard to field the ball. It's hard to throw the ball, especially when you're dealing with wet conditions, especially when it's cold and wet. And you really hope your kids are dialed in. And it's another element. Coaches will tell you, well, it's the same for everybody. That'll be their argument on it. But still, I can tell you from playing baseball, it is much harder to concentrate and do what you need to do in the rain. It's tougher to do that than it is when it's nice outside. So we'll see how it works out.
When you were a kid and it rained, did you have one of those big, long yellow rubber that had a little hood on them? And you just weighed about 50 pounds and sweat?
Like the Gordon's Fisherman?
Yeah.
No, I wasn't smart enough. See, the problem with me was I was never smart enough to look at the TV or listen to the radio and see if it was going to rain. So I just went out and hoped for the best and just got soaking wet, Just wore my normal clothes every day and no umbrella, no nothing. Just went out there and
love life,
lived in the elements, and I'm that way to this day, and I just don't prepare properly for the weather conditions. So I dress for the weather I want, and sometimes that costs me pretty bad. So
guys kills me, I'm telling you. You know what? The sad part is he's probably telling the truth.
I am. If my mother called in right now, she'd nod her head and.
So that's my boy Dave.
Yep,
that's old Dave.
You see what we've been dealing with, is what you'd say.
It's all abundantly clear now, right?
Yeah.
All right. Great job, man. Appreciate you.
Oh, no problem at all. Enjoy being here.
Oh, he's awesome. That's our buddy again, Dave Angie again. We're going to be wrapping this thing up. We're out of time. We sincerely thank you for yours. Back at it tomorrow, Champion Chevrolet. We got Cress Van Dyke's going to come by tomorrow. Got a full load of folks. Cress, of course, the driver's been very successful already. The 2017 NASCAR season at Kingsport Speedway. So we've got him. Kevin Harmon's going to come by, talk a little UT sports. Got all kinds of good folks coming tomorrow, again, at Champion Chevrolet. So we're going to say so long from here. Thanks again to Joe Avento from the Johnson City Press. Also want to say thanks to the obvious, our buddy Greg Salyer, who was here as well. And also thanks to my man just now, Dave Angie, who does not prepare for the elements. He just shows up. It's like, Shazam, it's raining. So I love this guy. Kills me. All right. So, hey, have a great day. We're out of time. We sincerely thank you for yours until we re-greet you tomorrow at 11 o'clock. We'll say, as always, win or lose, be a good sport, and check the weather forecast. So long, everybody.